Hello everyone. Today we would like to present our paper, LuckyFind, Leveraging Surprise to Improve User Satisfaction and Inspire Curiosity in a Recommender System. My name is Sunshine. I am an associate professor at University of North Carolina at Charlotte, and the project is funded by NSF. So just some background of our research. And today's recommender systems tend to offer too close matches, and they were not able to promote richer information discovery. If I searched for a textbook recommender systems in Amazon, this is a textbook I'm using this semester for my students. And then I want to find some related or recommended books similar to this book. And all the recommended items on the right side, as you can see, are pretty narrow. And then they are from a technology perspective, like deep learning, NLP, Python. So that comes to our contribution in this study. And then we brought in 3 human-centered concepts for intervention and evaluation in our recommender system. So the 3 concepts are surprise, satisfaction, and curiosity. So we implemented a new recommender system called LuckyFind. And then we had 2 variants of this system. The first one is knowledge-based. It's using a computational surprise model, which is a knowledge. So the model is from our previous study. And then the second version is adaptive knowledge-based, which is AKB. And it's on top of KB, but also incorporate user feedback in real time. So our work centers around information retrieval and human-centered computing. So let me introduce computational surprise model first in our previous study. So we measure the surprise level based on co-occurrence, how rare the co-occurrence happens compared to expectation. So if the domain is a news article, and then we regard each news article as a bag of topic pairwise combinations. So if a topic pair Ti and Tj, they rarely happen together in one article, we will think this article is really surprising. For example, the topic diabetes and the topic dental health, they rarely happen in one article. So that's why we think the article talking about both dental health and diabetes would be really surprising. And then I put the equation here to measure this co-occurrence rarity of the topic combination. As you can see, the Ti and Tj in the numerator part is a joint probability of the 2 topics, and then the denominator part is the individual probability of each topic. And then one news article may have many topics, more than 2, and then we calculate all the possible pairwise combinations and take the maximum as a capitalized S as a final surprise score for that article's surprise level. So we applied this metric into a health news corpus, and then we find a lot of surprising articles, like the table here, the second row. Optometrists got the flu, take out your contacts. And then the combination of flu and eye health, or the combination of swine flu and eye health is really surprising. That's why the surprise score for this article is high. Again, this model is from our previous study. So the research questions for this study, we have 4. Number 1 is a computational surprise model able to find surprising contents? Is there any difference in KB and AKB approaches in terms of the surprising contents? And RQ2 is, does presenting surprising contents increase user satisfaction? And is there any difference between KB and AKB? So RQ3 is does presenting surprising contents inspire user curiosity? Is there any difference in KB and AKB in terms of user curiosity? So the last question, RQ4, what are the impacts of users' preference change? So our 4 research questions are about the 3 concepts we brought in, and also the last one is about users' preference change. So the corpus we are using in this study is from a website called Medical News Today. We crawled all the news articles from this website. So the corpus size is about 270K articles, and it has 135 topics such as cancer, depression, women's health, anxiety, etc. And for all the corpus, we calculate S. And then we find the overall distribution of the S follows is a normal distribution. That means very surprising and very not surprising articles are not many. So for each topic, we build a subcorpus. Like for cancer, we have a cancer subcorpus. For depression, we have a depression subcorpus. And then each subcorpus may have overlaps with other subcorpus because some articles are cross-cutting with many topics. So let's talk about KB and AKB more. So we for each topic subcorpus, we calculate this S for all the articles in that subcorpus, and then we divide the articles in the subcorpus into 5 segments. The segment 1 has the lowest S, and segment 5 has the highest S. And based on the S, we recommend the articles to users. For each user, we have 10 sessions of recommendations, and each session contains a certain number of articles, depending on how many topics the user has selected. For example, if the user selected 6 topics, breast cancer, anxiety, diabetes, hypertension, sleep disorder, depression, and then each session will have 6 articles. So for the 10 sessions, the first session and the second session contain articles with S in segment 1, and the third and fourth contain articles with S in segment 2, etc. Until the last 2 sessions, session 9 and session 10, are articles with S in segment 5. So in summary, the surprise level is increasing along the session number. So this is how we collect user feedback at the article level. And if a user is interested in an article, and then he can click that article and take a look. And then we ask some questions about that article. So for the surprise question, we ask a really direct question. How surprising do you find the content of the article is? And then for the user satisfaction, we broke it down to 2 aspects, from a practical, instrumental aspect, and from emotional aspect. This is according to an existing study in the literature. So we break it down into usefulness and interestingness. So for user satisfaction, we ask how useful do you think the article is, and how interesting do you find the article is. So to collect user curiosity, we adapted an existing scale for measuring people's curiosity in a study in psychology published almost 40 years ago. And then according to this study, each person's curiosity has 2 parts. The first one is a C trait. The second one is a C state. So C trait means a personal trait or personality. So that describes a person's general capacity to experience curiosity. And in contrast, C state is more about the current status of the person in response to a stimulus. So that study had both scales and had separate scales for C trait and C state. And therefore, we adapted each of them and applied C trait pre-study and applied C state post-study. And then for each scale, all of those statements, the users needed to indicate how much they agree with the statement from a 5-point Likert scale. So our user study, we got 30 users. That's between subject design. That means 15 people KB and another 15 AKB. And then as you can see, the middle panel of the picture is the interface. Will reflect the user's topics of interest. And then we recommend each user 12 sessions. You may remember that we offered 10 sessions of recommendations. So here it's 12. It's actually we added 2 baseline sessions. For the baseline sessions, we picked articles randomly from a topic subcorpus. That topic is a user select topic. And then, so in the lower panel, that's the article level interface, and then we have the article content on the left, and those 3 questions to collect the user's feedback on the right. So let's talk about the results of the user study. Let's talk about user surprise rating first. So this is the result, and then the horizontal axis means the session number, and then the vertical axis represents the surprise rating from 1 to 5. As you can say, both KB and AKB outperform the baseline. They are higher than the baseline. But for the KB and AKB themselves, the difference is not significant. And then we may see some higher surprise rating in the later sessions for the KB approach, but not much in AKB approach. Probably for the AKB, and then the users in their likeness, their feedback has been already incorporated, and then those very bold articles, very surprising articles have been removed already. So here is the user satisfaction ratings. And then the left side is a usefulness rating, and the right side is the interestingness rating. And then we can see that both KB and AKB approaches, they maintain a comparable ratings with the baseline. So which is not bad. Means after our manipulation, they can still maintain a comparable user satisfaction rating with the original knowledge-based recommender system. So again, which is not bad. And then we can also say some higher useful ratings and higher interesting ratings for the AKB approach in the later sessions. It suggests some value for this user feedback incorporation in a real-time fashion. In terms of user curiosity stimulation, and then we find that both KB and AKB, this approach between these 2 approaches, and then the AKB has a higher potential to stimulate users' curiosity. As you can see for both groups, the red bar is higher than the blue bar. And then if you break down the C trait into the low and high group, that's kind of a separate people according to their pre-study the curiosity trait. You will see that people with a higher C trait has a higher potential to be stimulated. Okay, so in terms of user preference change, and then we believe ideal recommender system is not only reactive but also proactive. It can nudge, can persuade, and even change people's behavior. And then we want to say if our LuckyFind is able to change people's preference, and hopefully we want to see whether it can broaden users' interests. So as a result, 19 out of 30 users have added topics to their profiles, and these 19 users added 49 topics. And for these topics, we went back to check their ratings, and most of these articles have a positive ratings in surprise, usefulness, and interestingness. So for the topics that stay in both pre- and post-study user profiles, 41 topics have received the increased level of preference. So that means LuckyFind is not only helping people discover new interests, but also help them strengthen or reinforce their existing interests. So we conducted follow-up interviews to get some color, add some color to those number results we got. So the questions we asked are whether the users encountered surprising contents. Were they satisfied with the surprising contents? Was LuckyFind curiosity inspiring? And we also asked them to elaborate about their preference change. So if you are interested in these results, you are more than welcome to go to our paper to find out. So to wrap up, the study leveraged the surprise to to address user satisfaction and curiosity. And the finding shows that the computational surprise model is able to identify surprising contents at little cost of user satisfaction, but the cost can be mitigated by dynamically incorporate users' feedback. And the AKB approach has stimulated a higher level of curiosity than KB, and over half of the users have changed their preference after using LuckyFind, either discovering new areas, reinforce their existing interests, or stopping following those they did not want anymore. So the study offers new insights for research on recommender systems, not to focus on algorithms, but also on user-centered objectives via deep understanding of both users and the domain. So this is pretty much our presentation, and thank you very much for your attention. We would like to thank NSF again because without NSF, the research cannot happen. So thank you again, and I look forward to seeing you all in the discussion session in the conference.